Right, Tim, you're coming into it on the back of a win last week in Turner's Cross. How's the week been since then?
Yeah, it's been good. Listen, this early in the season, it's difficult to analyse teams, and there's obviously new players. There's teams changing formations and whatnot. And I think last week I mentioned it was very difficult to see where UCD were at. They had only 10 men for 70 minutes the first game against Bray. They had a great win out there, and then the second game against Treaty, they had the Collingwood Cup where they played 4 games that week. That was the 4th game that week, so it was difficult to see where they are. And I think last week showed they were very, very good, loads of energy, and to come away with 3 points and probably not playing to our best was really pleasing.
Yeah, you got the win, but it was a tough game, and UCD put it up to you, and obviously there was the sending off in the end then as well.
Yeah, again, listen, Barry's tried to stop a counter attack, and he's tried to just clip their player's heel. And it's funny when you look back in the video, their player takes like a half step and then jumps, which results in Barry missing the heel and then landing on the back of his heel. So that was obviously a big blow, and the bigger blow was now he's been charged with violent conduct, which I didn't think it was violent conduct. I think it was probably, if anything, probably reckless. And I can totally understand why Chris has given him the red card, but disappointing that it went down as violent conduct and he has to serve a 3-game ban now. And
to be without him, I suppose, for 3 games this early in the season when you probably have injuries to deal with already, it's not ideal.
No, it's not ideal, and I think when you look, just probably the little bit of inconsistency in regards to the officiating is what I suppose everybody always talks about is the frustrating thing. And I think the start of the season against Kerry, you see the Kerry player volley and jack off the ball, and it results in a yellow card. I think that's a far worse tackle than Barry mistimed his tackle against UCD the weekend. And listen, it's probably a serious foul play because he's caught him on the Achilles with his studs. And the frustrating thing is probably getting the extra game. But yeah, listen, we have a couple of players coming back, full training. Dara's been in full training now, Dara Crowley for this week. Bagsy's back in as well this week. Practically did the full session today, so he'll up it again tomorrow. And Greg's back as well, so he has a week's training now behind him after getting minutes last week. So we're getting players close to return. I know Murph's back on the pitch tomorrow to do some running, and Malik should be back on the pitch running next week. So we're getting close to a full strength squad, and the points return in the first 3 games, and hopefully on Saturday if we get another win is a brilliant return considering we've 4 or 5 first team players are out.
And it's Longford now on Saturday, and I mean, you mentioned how it's hard to judge teams this early in the season, and they've only had 1 game so far as well, because their game against Bray was postponed last week, so they've only had the first game against Finn Harps that you can really judge them by. So it's hard to get a feel for teams this early in the season.
It is. Listen, I went and watched them live against Athlone in pre-season, and also against Shells in pre-season as well. The day we played Bohemians, we went over and watched them against Shells in the first half, and then we were there as well live for the first game of the season in Longford against Finn Harps. So 2-0 up in that game, and Harps showed really good character to come back. But listen, I know a few of the Longford players personally, and I know a lot of them from the league over the last lot of years, and they've got a lot of quality in the team as well. So again, they're coming in having 2 weeks break, which I don't know if it's a benefit or a hindrance to them, but again, we prepare the best way we can, and hopefully they put a system in place to go and try and get the 3 points.
You've changed the team in every game this season so far, the first 3 games. Is that the way it's going to continue? Is it going to be kind of utilising the squad all the time, or are you going to settle on a kind of a, not necessarily a definite first 11, but on a kind of a likely team?
Listen, there will be changes throughout the season. I don't think we're going to go and win a league title. That's the ambition of this club, and it's what the expectations and ambitions should be this season for us. And I don't think you win that with playing the same players every week. You have to have a strong squad, and I think the ones that we mentioned there as well. I didn't mention even little Matty Kiernan, who will probably be out for another month or so. He actually got a hairline fracture in his leg against Kerry after 5 minutes. Finished the game off, but scans have showed that he's got a little fracture in his leg. So he's another one. So there's probably 5 or 6 players that could easily play and starting 11 who are injured at the minute. And you add in Conor Drynan took a knock last week, and he missed out last week, and he'll miss out this week. That we have got injuries, but we have a good squad. There's a lot of good young players there as well, and we're going to need to have the whole squad to try and have a successful season. And I've no doubt that like each week, very rarely will there be the same 11, the same formation every week.
Looking at the fans again, big crowd there again at Turner's Cross last week, and being a Saturday night game this week, there should be a good few following up to Longford as well.
Yeah, we hope so. We had a good few up there for the Finn Harps game as well, which is obviously probably the longest journey in the League of Ireland. So again, we're hoping that we can get a good few up to Longford, which is normally a good pitch as well. It's difficult this time of year with most grounds. It cuts up quite easy. So, but no, we're really looking forward to the game, and if we can get a good following up, we're hoping that'll be a really good atmosphere, and that's up to us to produce the goods on the pitch to get the fans right behind us.
You mentioned the grounds cutting up as well, and I mean that's kind of been an issue so far. I mean, certainly you mentioned it in the game up in Finn Harps, and the pitch wasn't great in Turner's Cross the other night either.
No, it's hard to have the perfect surface to start and end the seasons when it's the summer league. I suppose there's multiple reasons for going that, but majority of the main reason would be games won't be called off because of weather. So it is difficult when you get to January, February time, and spilling into March if the weather's not great, and then probably end of September, October, November time as well. The pitches can be heavy, but it's not ideal. Obviously, everybody wants to play in a good pitch. I think if you look at the teams in the league, in the Premier Division and the First Division, majority of teams will play football, so the better pitches will suit every team, and I think it certainly would have suited us last week, but also UCD as well, how they play. So I think the sooner the weather calms down a little bit and the pitches get a time to recover, I think it would be better for our product for the whole league.
And do you think it's better, like for your squad specifically, that like the players you have in the style of football you want to play to have the pitches in better condition? Obviously,
I just think
maybe other teams can deal with it easier.
No, not at all. It's a lot of the pitches will affect how any team play, whatever style of play teams have, and it affects everybody the exact same. So it's just navigating your way through the first round of games where you're getting eyes on teams when you're playing against them, against your players for the first time, and also the conditions and the weather and whatnot. So it's trying to get as many points on the board as possible. And listen, we've had a decent enough start after 3 games. We want to try and add to that now on Saturday night and just try and get a bit of momentum going to finish off the first round of games.
Nice one, cheers, Tim.
Jim, you played a third of the teams in the First Division so far. What do you think of the standard, or are you heading into harder games, do you think?
No, I think sitting down the start of the year, I think you look at last season, and a lot of teams haven't added quality to their squads. The age profile of the League of Ireland has come down drastically in probably the last lot of years, and you can see that with a lot of teams now. They're very fit young players, and I think every team's like that. The athleticism and probably the athletic capabilities of teams has improved drastically probably in the last decade. So and again, the coaching standards with the more qualifications that are put on and the standard of coaching in the country, I think it's improved massively as well. So I think that's bearing fruits now on the pitch for every club, and I just think that the product that the fans are getting to see now with exciting young players and a lot of new coaches, should we say, I think it's a positive.
And with Longford only having one game, as the lad said, would you view that as an advantage or a disadvantage, or would you prefer like yourselves to be playing games week in, week out?
I think if you get the momentum going, I think you want to play games as regular as possible. I think from my own point of view, I probably would have rather them had the 3 games previously, so we could actually analyse all 3 games, and you might see some patterns. But again, that's just the way it's fell for them. I'm sure Stephen would want to have played the 2 games the last 2 weeks, and he didn't plan on having a 2-week break after the first game of the season. Especially in the manner in which they lost the game last minute. So I'm sure Stephen would want to put that right straight away. But listen, it is what it is. We'll have to just manage the fixture, manage the preparations as best as we can, and make sure it's no one else's fault for any result on Saturday night.
And Cork being away this week, the pitch will get rested for us past as well before the visit away.
I think so. I think the women's team played out Saturday evening at 5. So yeah, again, if it's one less game on the pitch, that's great. And hopefully Barry and the staff down there now can get a bit of good weather and a bit of break, because I think the amount of the rainfall that's been in the last lot of months has been really heavy, so it's not really getting an opportunity to have a rest, and hopefully now there's a bit of drying weather now the next 2 weeks, and we can get a good surface there again, and like it has been for years and years, a Turner's Cross for the Bray game.